I now have a mountain of work to get through, and it's like 11:30 on Friday. So realistically, I'm probably going to be up until early hours of the morning. um, I was hoping to sleep more today. I see now that might not happen, but I'm very well. Hope springs eternal, so I do hope that I manage to do things. But no, basically, I have to ship this thing, data dashboard thing, and that still needs some changes and a bunch of I want to add some cool functionality and I want to make it a really nice showpiece. I'm very, very excited about that. I need to review some code by the guy who recently came on, who's like kind of learning, figuring things out. I have to manage some PRs for the client that I'm kind of a tech lead, acting as tech lead kind of thing. And what else? Oh yeah, then I have to do just a bunch of development for this other client, front end stuff. And yeah, I mean, like I haven't been able to. Well, it's been a week of kind of like pressing on the gas, basically. I've been pushing pedal to the metal. It's just like with the hours that I've been working and stuff like that. But it's been like really enjoyable. And today I had some great calls. Focus was a little bit all over the place, and I'm having to make up for that now, which is well, it is what it is. It doesn't matter what I think of it or what I don't. But what was I going to say? I wanted to record an update earlier and just slipped my mind. But oh yeah, I think one of the biggest lessons I've had recently was don't take work that's going to sap at your energy because it's the most valuable resource you have. It's not just people say the most valuable resource you have is time. It's not just time, it's more energy and attention because you may have 24 hours in a day, but you do not have 24 hours of energy and attention to focus to something. So the reality is you actually have a resources supply of energy, resources supply. As you can see, I'm on like 5 hours of sleep. But you have a limited supply of energy, which you can allocate towards certain things. But there are certain things which deplete, but energy is not linear like time, So if you take an hour on this task, that's an hour gone either way. But energy is not linear, right? There are things which take less energy from you and there are things which take more. And if you put somebody doing a really hard, and I don't mean physical labor, I mean like mental labor, mental focus and labor is probably the most limited kind of, I would, so far, I don't say this statement in exclusivity and in absolute. I would say just out of my experience so far, I think focus hours are the most limited that you get per day. Focus hours do not mean meetings most of the time, like at least for me, and this is in my experience. So I think also depending on the person, the type of person you are, you might have different things which are more limited or less limited. But for me, like I think focus, like you can, I can work a bar for 10 hours in a day. I cannot focus. Like I cannot specifically get like my brain will not focus for 10. I don't think any human brain will. And especially not over the course of like a week or whatever. Whereas like physical labor is a bit different. Like you can, yeah. And I think it's important to allocate that to tasks that bring you energy that deplete you less. Basically, this reflection all comes from there was a client that ended up canceling the deal, and that, like to be fair, I was already considering dropping them, right? So it was very turbulent. They changed the requirements. We were playing Chinese whispers, across a chain of 4 people, but none of them had decision power. And so it was really just what the top person was saying went to the third, to the second, to the first, and then to me. And obviously, like, it's like playing the like telephone game or like the whisper game. Chinese whisper is what I call it. I don't know what other people call it, but it's like, it's this ridiculous chain of communication where like it's not effective, right? Because those people in between the top and me didn't have any decision power, and so they weren't doing anything except trying to repeat what the first person said. The problem is they didn't repeat things properly. They always left out a little detail or this or that, and so like by the time it reaches me, it's not the same message that left the first person. And so it was just a nightmare, and I was on calls with them all the time. and the calls weren't like, they just had more and more things, and this changed, that changed, whatever. And then they canceled the project. And to be fair, I don't know if I said this on camera or not, but like one of the reflections I had was like, I would absolutely not do this deal if I had basically more money and cash flow. It was like I was continuing to do the deal, and I wanted it to keep going because I was like, I should stick through it. I think it's worth it. It gives me the capital for expansion, things like that. Them canceling was probably the best thing that could have happened. Like it was such a blessing, because I would have gotten myself into such a rut that would not have been worth the stress. Like I because now it has created space for other more quality deals which have been filled up, and that has been amazing. And like I'm now at 11:30 p.m. and like I might be working until 3, 4, maybe 5. Probably not. I really need to sleep. But whatever it is, and I'm like genuinely looking forward to that work as much as I wish. I just basically wish I could have a couple extra hours of sleep. But other than that, literally nothing I would change. And that is worth so much more. Like the people that you work with, all that stuff is so incredibly important, and you should absolutely be picky if you can afford to do it. And I think, like, the earlier you start doing that, the better. And you will find, like, not only is it good for me because I feel better, I'm more energetic about the work, things like that, but also you end up producing better work because you're more energized by it, because you're more interested, you're more invested, whatever it is. And being interested in the work doesn't just come from the act of what you're doing, but also, I would say, not also, I would say primarily, it's who you're working with. Because you can be doing the same exact thing for somebody who you really work well with and somebody who treats you really badly, or who disrespects you, who whatever, right? Who just, it doesn't, the work is the same. The work itself is not what's changing. It's about the people who you work with. And I think being picky about those is really important. And sometimes you do not have the luxury of choice. That is true. I've been in that position many times. But as soon as you can, as soon as you start to get some of that luxury of choice of like who you work with, I would say exercise it. Do not try and be greedy and just like take everything, like I would have done, and I would have made a really big mistake. And now I'm looking at things and like, that's the best thing that ever happened. That and it's the same thing about like the team. Be picky about who you bring on your team if you're hiring, whatever. Be picky about who you work for, like that, because those things, it's who you work for in both directions, whether it's your team or your clients or whatever it is, your investors. Like that makes or breaks everything you do. And I think, yeah, like they're literally, like, I've started to see people, I started to work more people, I have more people on payroll, I have more clients, all these things. And sometimes, I work with certain people and I'm like, I literally, what I'm doing wouldn't be possible without you. Like, I'm so grateful for people's work. And I want other people to say the same about me, right? Like the people who I make things for, like I want them to say the same thing. And I think that's the best position to be in. And you like, the biggest things are not, the biggest things are built by people together. And if you can't say, like, you need, basically, you need other people as a part of your journey, effectively, is what I'm saying. And if you know that is a prerequisite for the things that you want to do, that you need other people that are quality, right? Then you might as well try and get quality people as soon as you can, because that's going to accelerate your path to wherever you want to be, whatever your destination is. It doesn't matter whether you want to be an Olympic runner or, a ventriloquist. Like, it doesn't matter if the people are everything. Anyway, excited about the work. Praying I can finish my work in decent hours, but yeah, I will probably, like, if I wasn't sleep deprived for the past week, I'd push it until whenever I need it. But because I'm already, like, and I don't want to completely mess things up, but I wanted to get work out of the way because tomorrow I want to spend time reflecting a lot on things. So I've kind of set off Saturday as my reflection day. I might have to work in, like, the idea was that I wouldn't touch the execution side of things. I might have to mix that in, but whatever. But Yeah. But the past couple days have been like, they've been really amazing. And it's been some of the nicest highs I've had in a while. And it's not because it's not like something, it's not some magnificent moment or some like, I just got $1 million check in my bank account, or, I just bought a new house. Like those things haven't changed. I'm in the same environment and the same thing, the same place. It's just like, I don't know. It's just, I've been able to put myself where I want to be and on the path that I want to be going. And it's, the thing about, you want to enjoy the journey, not the destination. And I've basically managed, I think, to do that. And the I guess real thing for me that made me realize just how, like, I'm not a morning person, which is why, I work late, whatever, and it is what it is. I have been a morning person at times. I have seasons, whatever. Anyway, recently I haven't been a morning person, and I have a call at 11 a.m. every day, and this is with the team, and like the past couple of days, usually I take a while to get out of bed. Maybe I'm a bit groggy, whatever it is. The past couple of days, I've literally like, okay, I'll wake up, maybe I'll lie in bed for a little bit, like I'll stay in bed an extra 5 minutes or something, and then once I'm up, I'm like up immediately, and I go and do things, and like it's just, I practically run downstairs, hop on my laptop, go walk my dog, back on my laptop, like just high energy. And that's even in the state of sleep deprivation. And that is, I think there's no better place to be. Like I don't think, I think you want to preserve that feeling all throughout the journey, whether, and this is the reason why you want to move goalposts. People say, I don't know. I think sometimes people say you shouldn't move your goalposts because you're always in search, you're always grabbing for something. But I think that's part of like what we're meant to do, like as humans. I think it's in human nature is to go after something. And I think like you always want to be in pursuit, because the pursuit is really the joy. And like, I'm really enjoying the energy that I'm having now, and I want to keep that even in a bigger business. I think that's the most important part. And it requires, to be fair, that requires constant reevaluation of like, is this good? Sometimes something now may be great, but in 2 years, maybe you change your mind. That's okay. But no better feeling. And I think not enough people work toward that. And sometimes, like, bear in mind, that is not immediately available. That, you cannot immediately just make your life whatever. It takes time. It takes time and a lot of trial and error. And when I say time and a lot of trial and error, I'm not talking about days and weeks. I'm not talking about weeks and months. I'm talking about years. And it goes back to that thing of like, if you can measure in days, not decades, you can go a whole lot further. And if you give yourself a decade to build the life that you want, chances are you'll get there. And yeah, if you think critically about the opportunities that are presented, it's my belief that, like, if you're watching this video, that's a possibility, because that means you have access to the internet, and the internet has created some amazing things. So it's not without its downfalls and whatever. And anyway, it's 5 in the morning. I should not be awake right now, but I've been working, so as predicted, I'm pretty tired, but I got a fair amount done. I had decent fun. I'm gonna sleep now. I wanted to catch up on sleep. That really didn't go according to plan, but anyway. Yeah, my brain's already half shut off, but it was a pretty busy day. No, it's just been back to back, like insanely long days. It's been a very long week, but anyway, good times. The recording earlier, I think, might have cut halfway because my phone ran out of battery. I don't know how long I actually spoke for. I don't know how much was recorded, how much wasn't. So anyway, I actually thought I talked about some pretty interesting stuff, specifically about like being picky about the people you work with. I think it's one of the best things you can do, and how I almost made a terrible mistake, but I recently was saved from that, and all that stuff. And I think it was a really I think that was a nice reflection, but I can't be bothered to re-record it or like talk about it again right now. So I'll just leave that for another day if that happens. But I think most of it's recorded. The fact I haven't even watched it's really stupid of me. But anyway, like I just haven't had time. I've been I've been behind my laptop, so I'm gonna sleep and tomorrow. Well, I still have more work to do tomorrow. The whole plan of like having it as a reflection day. Well, I'll be lucky if I have half of it to do reflections. So yeah, oopsie. Oh well. I still think no. I'll get through things. Yeah, one way or another.